Hey, welcome to your weekly Corner Späti. It is me, Kieran. I am joined by Uma.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hello.
And we are joined once again, return guest, Séamus. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Here in I think last time we spoke, where was the last time we spoke? Where was I?
Oof. I don't know.
I don't fucking know. Do you remember this thing I did several months ago?
I'm trying to remember like the Zoom background. I think you're roughly where you are now.
Yeah, no, big Apple, New York City.
New York City, baby. Greatest city in the world.
Famously never sleeps.
Yeah.
No, it's doing all right.
Good. Yeah, we're all in various different European countries with various opinions on the stuff you write about. So we will be getting into that. But we're here. Obviously, we're just going to do it up at the top of the show. I have been listening to Turbulence. I've been really enjoying it. You talk about regions of the world that I do not follow myself. So it's very nice to listen to people who know what they're talking about when it comes to like Yemen and Sudan and places like that. So thank you very much. It's a great podcast. Going to recommend it up front.
Appreciate that.
In general, would it be fair to say that, I'll let you say in your own words, the theme of Turbulence is kind of the collapsing liberal world order and the kind of like effects that has had on various parts of the world?
That's correct. I mean, the lens is officially through the aftermath of October 7th being like the linchpin of everything unraveling, but there are things that come before that, come after that we discuss. General collapse idea.
Good, because we've been talking about that in our podcast for a bit as well. Mostly in just the, our remit is Europe, but then we talk about like Europe is having this constant question of like, oh, I don't know about this NATO shit. And then the other side of Europe is going like, how about we call Trump daddy? He seems to like that. So it's kind of confused. And then at the same time, there's also just this overwhelming need to ignore October 7th and its aftermath and pretend it kind of didn't happen and it's all business as usual, while everyone on the street level is like, no, it happened and we now all hate or distrust you because of it. So that's fun. But Nick, why do you kick us off with some lovely topics we need to talk about?
Some lovely topics, yeah. Well, I think that it's the linchpin of October 7th, I think, is a really interesting point, particularly for Europe. Funnily enough that you mention October 7th, right? Because it is the sense of, I think that you two are in countries where then it's like generally not forgotten about, but like the lens of it's, how much that specific date is in like the memories of people, where it's like in Germany, that is still like there are like 3 movies in theaters now that are all about October 7th. And they're really like trying that whole thing, but in
the sense of like in Ireland and Spain, we're allowed focus on like what's happened since more than October 7th.
Where then like we could talk about this when we get specifically under the Middle East. But one of the things that then I think has been probably one of the oddest signifiers post October 7th of Europe, have nothing of course to do with Israel, is in the sense of the the Trump administration. And the position that then Europe kind of finds itself in, where it has kind of comfortably lived in the not even necessarily like the shadow of U.S. hegemony, but just as a direct beneficiary of it constantly. And that changing focus with Trump, where Trump seems to then be Trump weirdly kind of has a sense where he then understands where the global powers are a bit more than it seems like liberal Democrats and some. Yeah, I see Kieran giving me a look, but it is like Japan. Trump, I think, agree. Here? Sure, that is a weird country, but Trump's idea then of these core 5 of, China, Russia, the United States, and India being probably the 4 ones that make the most sense. I agree. Japan's a weird one. And
those 4 countries have nukes. Yes.
Those 4 countries have nukes. And also, 2 of them are like almost 2 billion people in population. And Europe in this sense actually feels now quite let out. And it seems that the Trump administration, Kieran briefly mentioned about NATO, but Europe has found itself not only in a transformative process of, understanding where it fits within U.S. hegemony, but now also a slight sense of just being just forgotten, not even just like forgotten about by the Trump admin, but it's just like as an afterthought of like, okay, Europe, you're there, but the real players in the room are, you know, these other countries. So how much of this, I guess, is then, you know, just a general shift of the world order? Is it really that Trump is necessarily like at the forefront of this, or is like, you know, Europe rightfully kind of put in its place right now in this idea, or is it just you know, a normal reshuffling of the you know, global, you know, possible, you know, polyhegemonic world that we're heading into?
That's a lot of details that I have to think about. I mean,
that's all good. I'm sorry.
I think with Trump in particular, I think about, I mean, his attitude toward Europe is not necessarily, I don't think he's thinking about necessarily multipolarity. I think he's thinking about what he can extract at a certain point. I mean, this Ukrainian peace deal terms that he's just spoken about, I mean, he talks about the Ukraine getting into the EU in 2027. I think trying to get Ukraine into NATO at some point, or at least making its accession guaranteed in some fact or another. The terms were a bit all over the place and a bit confusing. But the major parts of it that stuck out to me was that its reconstruction was supposed to be made profitable for the Americans. They would send the funds from those reconstruction opportunities, from the business opportunities that come out of that, to the United States. And when he talks about Europe, I don't know if this is an official part of the NATO doctrine, but getting those budgets, those military budgets up to 5%. He's trying to decouple from Europe in some fashion, but that also means that they have to buy American weapons if they want to be able to do that. So he gets the best of both worlds. He gets to not care about Europe so much because he's not really concerned with what Mark Rutte has to say, really. But he also gets the Netherlands to buy a lot of weapons, or however many other countries there are in Europe. It's not defined. Like, there are people within the American administration that have a consistent ideology. Stephen Miller is going to be someone who has a much more consistent white nationalist, isolationist, if we can really call it that, ideology. But Trump is really just what makes me the most money, what puts the attention on me as a peacemaker, as a diplomat, as someone who is getting things done. And that just cycles into whatever comes into the forefront. Like the Congo was just a big peace deal that he was talking about, and that immediately fell to disrepair as soon as his attention drew away from it.
I forgot about that completely.
No, fucking everybody did. Now 400 people or something are dead from the end of that peace deal on. No, I mean, he was talking about like, why can't we get economic growth in the United States up to 25% a year? Like he Insane. Just wants, no, he doesn't know anything about economics at all. He just wants like, what gets me the most money now? And it doesn't matter what happens after the fact. I think it's purely monetary at the moment, or not at the moment, whole thing.
Yeah, because I always felt like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the point guys for Europe in the Trump administration is also less Trump and more like Hegseth and Vance.
Hegseth's definitely there. He literally has a Jerusalem cross tattooed on him. He is in the mindset that Europe is being overtaken by Arab hordes. Yeah. But JD Vance is somebody who, I don't want to say intellectual, but he's read, I'm sure he's read Camp of the Saints.
he's read something.
he's read certain things, and he is much more invested in the idea of keeping Europe as a white Christian continent. There was that whole foreign policy memo that came out of the State Department talking about
greatest city in the world.
Greatest city in the world. It's not like I have to deal with this fucking shit every goddamn day. Anyway, no, they are desperate to have something to invest in, and the thing that they want to invest in is the thing that they've been obsessed with on the internet for God knows how long. Because Vance is somebody who at one point knew who Ian Miles Chong is, and now he's vice president of the United States. He has these hangups about white Europe
Yeah.
about the fate of Catholicism that only make sense to internet-brained people who follow Varg. And now he has the levers of power, and he does want to utilize that. Trump has like, how do I make this differentiation? He hates Somalia, right?
Mhm.
Hates black people, hates Africans, hates Indians, but he has no care whatsoever for religion outside of a bare minimum. This is the ethnic group that ethno-religious group that Americans are made up of, white Christian people. But he really does not give a shit either way. I think what happens. Vance is someone who is the actual, like you're saying, he is the investor in that project more than anybody. I don't know if there are any. The names escape me of European diplomats under Vance who'd be more invested in that. I remember in the first Trump term, the ambassador to I think the Netherlands or to Belgium was Pete Hoekstra.
Yeah, that's
that freak.
Yeah, because he's Dutch American, so he was like
Dutch American. Yeah, Netherlands. That would be an example of someone who was on that train fairly early, but I'm unsure of the other people under the State Department's purview now who are in charge of European policy.
I think the thing too that then's actually very interesting within Trump too and their attitudes towards Europe, I guess in that regard, is that then there has been now this very act. I mean, we saw this very much at the kind of the first iteration of this was JD Vance at the Munich Security Conference last year or earlier this year, where he gives a full-on endorsement pretty much of the AfD in Germany, and
tells the moderator to cry.
Yeah, because he sucks so much. The guy had
to come up and was in tears.
Yeah, and that the U.S. has now taken a full-on role within, kind of domestic European politics of we are going to just support the far right in every single country. So the U.S. once again being this house upon the hill for Nazism or fascism, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is now become kind of an officiated thing from the White House itself and from its delegates and such. So kind of it is funny of then the quiet thing of Gladio of the Cold War is now just the open, obviously not for in the sense of the defense against communism, but for as you mentioned, these defense of white European 14 words ass values that a lot of of the true believers in the Trump admin have.
I mean, there used to be this great understanding that you couldn't tell everybody what you actually intended. You needed to dress it up in something because there was an understanding that things need to be palatable to people. But now the general idea is, okay, these people can't be pleased. People who want rights or sovereignty or democracy or a general respect. So we shouldn't care about what they think. And we should just proceed with the darkest desires of our hearts out in the open. And that results in these very strange manifestations purely meant to provoke. I mean, I mentioned Hegseth having the Jerusalem cross and now being Secretary of Defense. I mentioned this on Chappie the other day. Southcom, which is responsible for all the strikes in the Caribbean, posted a soldier with a Jerusalem cross patch on his helmet. An American soldier, no U.S. flag, just the Jerusalem cross.
They're not. I was kind of hoping it would have been one of the Venezuelans, then I might have felt a bit better about what they were doing. But no, okay, it's one of the Americans, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, this is not something that makes sense.
No.
I mean, they're fighting sensibly. If they're fighting Venezuela, they're fighting Catholics and evangelicals. But because it's within the War on Terror framework, then they can just deploy all the same random bullshit insults against Muslims against Latino populations just the same, because it doesn't fundamentally matter. If you are on the side of Trump in this way, nothing will move you. You're already in the bag for everything, and you know that everything is supposed to be deceitful. If you're lying, then everybody's in on it. If you're being truthful, then great, they're saying what you think. I tried, in researching, I wrote a piece in the Drift this month about the line between Rumsfeld and Bush and the run up to Iraq war to how Trump is. And I looked through just scores of media coverage in the run-up to the Iraq War, the amount of times that Dick Cheney was trotted out, Rumsfeld was trotted out, Wolf was trotted out to make the case for Iraq in ways that were deliberately intended to be almost moderate. Like there were instances in which Dick Cheney had to like calm down moderators who were trying to get him to be more jingoistic and to be more warmongering. There was this years of buildup to Iraq in which they knew that they had to make the case because what America thought of that war was going to be important to how it was fought. Now, I mean, they're pushing forward with this Venezuela war with minuscule support for it. They don't care at all. America's mandate is irrelevant. Europe's mandate is irrelevant to this process if they cared much at all. No, it's purely about what the Republican media establishment thinks of it, and they're of course on board with it.
Yeah, I think that I mean that's a perfect transition to then exactly one of the things I wanted to talk about was, or that we wanted to talk about, not just me, was
I want to talk about Eurovision.
Yeah, I know that you want to talk about Eurovision. Yeah, sorry, Uma and I are intellectual over here, Kieran. You can have your filth. But yeah, I mean, like the Venezuela thing, particularly with Europe's reaction to it, has been very either just passive, as you've mentioned, like being in Germany. It has just been that the only thing that I see is that then the news will report about it, and occasionally you'll see like the channels that I see of like more like lefty or anti-imperialist things talking about how stupid it is or how jingoistic it is and this and that and that. But I think the only like positive reaction that I've seen was like from Poland's foreign minister or something like that, which he just like tweeted out like a random picture of B-2 bombers being like thank you, USA. You're my best friend. When it came to like,
awesome,
embarrassing,
like threatening that then, because what is it? It came out on the back of that. Then it's like we might attack Venezuela tonight, and I think it was the same Polish dude who also like after allegedly the U.S. blew up Nord Stream, was like just wrote thank you USA.
Yeah,
I know this guy.
So
I do have a minor question on top of that. Was it either Poland or was it a different country that got the guy who sang Mambo No. 5 to sing to the people who were
that was
going to war against migrants?
Yep, that was first of all Lou Bega, Bavaria's finest.
I'm sorry.
Mambo No. 5, Monica, Jessica, etc. Then
Felicia, Tanisha, Siobhan. Oh wait, no, that's Freak.
Siobhan.
PD Pablo.
Siobhan.
No one in Bavaria has heard the name Siobhan. The most exotic name they can think of is Rita.
I don't know why that name is also in PD Pablo's Freak-a-Leak. That is not a very American name either.
But yes, you are right, Séamus. Lou Bega was roped into a benefit concert for Polish soldiers who were defending against the predominantly Syrian and Afghan migrants who were trying to cross into Poland from the Belarusian border.
Yes. I remember this now.
Yeah.
Did he know?
Who knows? He gave a great performance.
I don't think I imagine if he was still singing Mambo No. 5 that he needed money. And he does it. Poland? All right.
He did.
Sure, I'll sing to the troops.
Yeah.
There was a jet on stage, so I'm assuming he knew it was something military. At least.
Yeah, it's just militant support for Mambo No. 5. That's
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, defend all the women in the song.
The people behind Las Ketchup, the Spanish band, they were invited and pulled out when they realized what it was. Salute. And then and not surprisingly, various members of Ace of Base happily took part, because we can just give a Google of what kind of bands Ace of Base were in before Ace of Base.
I do love the fact that like one of the largest pop groups from Sweden has the exact same politics as a black metal band from the same country.
I mean, it's just the politics you have to have if you're a musician from that country, it seems, right?
I mean, I hope that like young Lean doesn't have those politics. He seems like a nice boy.
All that she wants is another baby. She's gone for tomorrow because of benefits, and we need to sort that out. Kieran's reminder that the Ace of Base are named after the Base of Aces, which was a Nazi U-boat base in northern France.
Just Kieran, stop it.
Just for anyone who was missing out on this context.
I thought that's a cutesy name. I wonder what it's about.
Something horrifying.
Well,
anyway,
I
we
think
talking about geopolitics.
Yeah,
we were. I mean, I'm fine talking about Eurovision if that's what you want to talk about.
Ace of Base never participated in Eurovision. Don't get it twisted.
Christ.
Yeah, but I think that then because Uma brought this up, that she wanted to talk about this. I think one of the big ways that then Europe has underwritten this has been, our lovely, today actually, or was it yesterday? Yesterday.
No, Wednesday.
Time is a flat surface.
Yeah. Okay. So Maria Corina Machado, this woman, she was like back in October or November, they announced that she won the Nobel Peace Prize, which Trump was very upset about because he fully thought he was going to win it. But then in her thank you, kind of like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I got the prize. Thank you, Mr. Trump. She kind of dedicated the award to him as well. Yeah, not literally, but yeah. So on Wednesday was the actual this Wednesday, the 10th, was the actual award ceremony, but she didn't make it on time. So it was her daughter.
She had to be smuggled out. She was doing something noble and brave.
Yeah, of course. But her daughter was the one that accepted the Peace Prize, and it was really funny. She's the whitest, she's ginger, it's really funny.
The first Venezuelan ginger person.
She looked Argentinian, But anyway, but then she didn't make it in time, and then she appeared in the balcony of her fancy hotel at 2 a.m. yesterday. That's why everybody was reporting yesterday that first time, it's the first time that she's been seen for months, because she's been, hiding in Venezuela or whatever. And it was ridiculous. She was pretending to cry, but also she has so much Botox on her face that she couldn't convey emotions.
There's something I don't know if anybody's seen that documentary, The Many Lives of Leni Riefenstahl.
No, but okay, go on.
I promise this is relevant. Riefenstahl, that's something mad crazy life of Leni Riefenstahl. When she's very elderly, it's clear that she has had multiple different facelifts, and so it's resulted in her having this Joker smile. Oof. As she's talking about how she actually wrote notes in Mein Kampf about how she didn't actually like the racism in it. It creates a very disturbing quality to everything that she's saying. And Maria Machado has the exact same thing happening with her face.
Yeah,
it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's the thing. She was, and all the fucking European and Western media has been all oh my God, such an emotional time, and so emotional. And I remember I saw this there was this BBC reporter. I've never seen her. I don't know who she is, but she was saying we were all waiting there outside her hotel, and everybody was crying and emotional. And I was who is everybody? Because I bet it was just the Western media. There was literally protest by the Latino community in Norway against her, outside the fucking Oslo, because they give the Nobel Peace Prize in the Oslo hall, city hall. There were protests outside by the Latino community in the Venezuelan community diaspora in Norway against Machado. There's also this organization that is not directly linked to the official, quote unquote, official Nobel organization, but every year they do I'm sure you've seen pictures of the torch procession. If there's they do before the night before they award the Peace Prize to whoever, there's this kind of candlelight / torch procession through Oslo of honoring whoever is getting the Peace Prize, right? So last year it was this association of victims of the nuclear bomb in Japan, and it was just like with them, it was all this beautiful thing. This year, they were just like, we're not doing it because we do not agree with Machado getting the Peace Prize.
Oh, good.
They just fully were like, we're not doing this. We've been doing this every year since like whenever, but we're just not going to do it because we disagree fundamentally with this. And we don't think it agrees with like what the Nobel Peace Prize should be. But yeah, and somehow the Western media is, I mean, I'm not surprised, but it's not focusing on all of that. It's just saying like, oh yeah, it's great because Maduro is a dictator or like whatever.
I'd be very curious on like, I'm super curious, Uma, about like Spanish media reaction as the people who can understand what Venezuelans say. But like in Ireland, because there's this huge push to try and get us to join NATO, which sucks. They are really just ignoring everything that's happening in the Caribbean because that's just a little too uncomfortable to bring up. Even the discussions of Israel and how like terrible they are, never really want to touch the fact that it's like it's America's best friend and America runs NATO. So like I never see it in the fucking news at all. Like from Irish media, what's Spain?
No,
like?
Spain has been pretty critical. I mean, they're not being openly pro Maduro or like anything like that, but they are reporting on both sides of like there's people that agree with it and there's people that don't agree because of this, you know, and like there's a lot of, I think in the mainstream media, it's more like both sides kind of thing. They're just reporting on like this. And then there's a lot of like talk shows where a lot of the people are left leaning and they're just out like complaining about the fact that she got nominated. But of course, there's always like the right wing commentator and like whatever.
Oh, yeah, you've got Ayuso over there in Madrid who will always take the most like stupid position.
Kieran, our favorite woman, Ada Lluch, has been going on. So Ada Lluch, do you know who she is, Séamus?
No. This is
okay.
You might know who she was married to, actually. Do you remember who she was married to?
No.
They're divorced now.
Are they?
you tell us about what Ada's been up to. I'll find his name.
So Ada Lluch was this like Catalan, not even just Spanish, Catalan fucking influencer wannabe, right-wing grifter wannabe, who she was married to an American, right? He's American?
Yeah, he's in like the kind of grifter right-wing space.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and she was
thinking
basically...
about what the funniest possibility could be.
Charlie Kirk.
His secret Catalan wife.
He's not gay. He's married to a Spanish woman.
He's actually got a second family.
But yeah, so and she would just be like the number one Trump defender on Twitter, and just like both in Spanish and English, just trying really weird, just basically trying to build up a career as like a right-wing influencer. And for some reason, Spanish media picked up on her this year, and she's been going on a fucking tour of like these talk shows. The problem is she's dumb as rocks. Like she's just very, very fucking dumb. Like you can be a right-wing grifter and at least have some sort of like debate skills and just, you know, like try to, but she's just fucking dumb. And it was like they were eating her alive. Even other right-wing people in these talk shows were just like, we're not, you know, this is just not one of ours. Like she's crazy. But yeah, anyway, who was she married to? Did you find it, Kieran?
It's actually, it's been scrubbed from the internet.
Like, are you serious?
I can find it. I can just get pictures of him. But
anyway, I don't think he was super famous though, no?
No, he's got a big Twitter account. He's in like, I want to say he worked for the Daily Wire.
Oh my god, he's ugly. Oh, she has a picture with Trump. Yikes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. How do you spell her name? I can see if I can identify him.
Ada?
Ada is the first name. The second name is Lluch.
Okay.
I'm putting it in the chat.
Oh yeah, I don't know this man's name, but I have definitely seen this man before. This is such a, I have no, how do I say this politely? There is a photo here, the second photo of her in a bikini and him in what looks like a full soccer shirt.
Yeah.
On the beach. What's
Yeah.
the dynamic
What's
of
going
this?
on? Yeah.
A confident man.
Clearly, it works for people. Don't tell you personality is like 60% of it. But
Ew. Are you
that's-
sure they're divorced though? Because
Yeah.
there's
it looks so solid.
no,
Such
because
a clear, equal partnership.
ew, it's like no, because I found a tweet by her that is like, Donald Trump is the reason my husband proposed to me, and that was like last year. I guess in a year everything can change.
Yeah,
But they met-
if
they
you
met
search
Trump
Ada Lluch, if
together.
you search Ada Lluch husband, the first thing is a tweet that she sent out, being like, "We're consciously uncoupling," blah blah blah.
Joey Manorino.
There you go.
Of course, Italian last name.
Yeah. Very. That is a name I would make up for like Italian American #1 in my script or whatever.
He appears to have. Sorry, I don't want to get too much. This man has multiple albums. It appears on Spotify, with some incredible Twilight-esque aesthetics.
Beautiful.
Joey Manorino, "Find My Way Home," and Joey Manorino, "Dreams of Reality."
He's the
I
singer behind that Charlie Kirk song.
It wasn't an AI creation. It was a conscious art
was-
masterpiece.
I make music that sounds like AI. I'm Joey Manorino. I do have another piece of context about why she announced that she was divorced. I remember this as being someone in like that right-wing grifter space. She has met Ian Miles Chong in person, and Ian Miles Chong did that thing where he posted a picture of him and her with a caption that like, you know, plausible deniability, but aggressively implied they were dating. And she had to like confirm, because like people were like, "Oh, that's Ada Lluch. She has their husband's Joey Manorino. I love him. He's such a weird guy on Twitter." All that was in the comments, and then that was happening, so she had to confirm, "Well, I'm no longer seeing Joey Manorino, but I'm also not dating Ian Miles."
Okay, Jesus Christ. I was like, okay, I hate her, but damn, girl.
No. She has standards. She has some standards.
Exactly. Like, fuck. Oh my god.
No, that man is like Nick Fuentes. Like, he is not fucking.
No,
Oh my god, yeah. Did you see the fucking Piers Morgan interview? Even Piers Morgan. If Piers Morgan has to be like, "You're too much."
No, like trying just his whole affect. I mean, not exactly a newsflash, deeply annoying, but like I looked up the interview and the first result is a news story talking about how he has never slept with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
That is so it was so disheartening.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh, this is like, you're proud of this.
Yeah.
You said
No,
that-
literally.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Piers is literally like, "Have you ever slept with a woman?" And he's like, "No, I'm a virgin." It's
I wish that was like.
Why?
I wish
Say
that
you
was
fuck
Piers.
someone in Model UN. Nobody's gonna know.
Too much on the nose, though. Jesus.
I really wish "Have you ever slept with a woman" was like his "Do you condemn Hamas?" Like he just asked every interviewee that question. Like it says a lot about Nick Fuentes that even popped into Piers Morgan's mind, and like, I actually have to ask this question.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. There's this interviewer in Spain that has like a late night show. And he always asks like 2 questions. How much money do you have in your bank?
That's a
And
good
how
question.
much sex have you had in the last 30 days? And he asks us to anybody, like politicians, Instagrammers, like anybody. It's quite funny.
I do love that Nick Fuentes is like that little Christian kid that always ends up in my feed. That's like, "I've never been on a date with a girl." He's like 17 or 18. He's like,
Oh,
"I give
no.
my life for God and I go to the gym," and then just he gets fucking roasted nonstop. And it's
Of
beautiful.
course.
More people, like, I know it's a very common thing of just like, "Oh, such and such right-wing politician is clearly in the closet." More people in the right-wing space need to learn about being asexual. I think this is genuinely what's happening.
I don't think. Okay, I gotta disagree. I don't think any of these people are like aces.
No,
No,
Nick,
no, no,
I
no.
think
wants it.
I think
that's it.
I
I
think
don't think
just
they're
as,
resisting that.
yeah, I think exactly like Rod Dreher, especially, they are closeted in some way or the other. Like there's remember, like that forever ago. There was that piece where Rod Dreher just watched sissy porn, and then like wrote.
yes.
Oh yeah, no. Oh,
It's like,
God.
buddy, we know.
It's like that Freudian ideal of like seeking out active disgust.
Mm.
No. Something.
How do we end up talking about this?
You know, corner Späti.
Look,
Always
you touch anything in the conservative media space, you go in all kinds of different directions.
Yeah,
It touches everything.
So
But no, let's
much.
get off of asexuality and let's talk about the Middle East.
Yeah. Well, just one last thing to the Nobel Prize thing. I thought it was really funny because a friend of mine was there, like filming it and whatnot, and they had like the disposable cups have like a Mandela quote of like, "Let's just talk it out" or something, and it's just the most ironic thing from a woman who's just like, "We should maybe bomb Venezuela."
Yeah, right.
Yesterday, talking about Venezuela is full of Hamas and Hezbollah. We're already invaded.
I've said this multiple times on the show. You know what? If that's true, big ups. That's a lot of work. You got a lot going on, and the fact that you
infrastructure
can,
you got to build up.
yeah, like
People to get, people to meet.
These tunnels are so impressive. Are you kidding me?
Through mountains?
You're just like, oh, guys, I took a wrong turn. I'm on the Caracas exit. Hang on.
Gaza's pretty flat terrain. You know,
Yeah.
that's crazy doing it through the fucking Amazon.
yeah, it's like next to the cable of the internet that then connects, you know, all of us is also the Hamas tunnel.
Yeah, there's like a terrible IDF or like Israel Foreign Ministry 3D graphics CSGO assets. Of like, under
Only
the
time
skin.
those have been accurate.
Yeah. I am enjoying the kind of like, not enjoying, but I enjoy noticing the kind of what I'm calling like American Islamo-gauche of like the flattening of everything into all enemies are the same. I think with Venezuela, we were seeing the huge rise of the term narco-terrorist. And that's like specifically it feels very new. It feels very like we're going to combine two things that we've always hated and fought against. War on drugs is now the war on terror. So it's all the same. Pew pew. Here goes the guns.
Yeah, I mean they've been using the same terminology when talking about Claudia Steinbaum as well, trying to like, you know, create this like this
really?
this like interconnected like network of narco terrorism that is absolutely in no way funded by the United States. Don't look into that one.
America really hates the idea of having two enemies. They always have to be like the same.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Jesus. Oh, God, it's always the fucking same. Like, it's not necessarily new. I mean, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, has really been trying to push this narco-terrorism thing a lot since 9/11. Desperately trying to find some sort of connection between FARC and Al-Qaeda, getting informants to like manufacture different plots to each other. Really, like, it's very impressive how little independent verification of any of this there is. It's purely through DOJ, State Department accusations going back into the Bush and Obama years. It really racked up, though, over the past several years during the Biden administration and during Trump 1. Really in like popular media, too. It came from sort of outside the White House nexus a little bit. There were games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, where one of the main characters, this foxy Mexican special forces lady, is like, if there is no war on terror, then there can be no real war on drugs, or something like that. And the Qasem Soleimani figurehead is like having dealings with cartels, and they're shipping missiles into America so they can retaliate against them with ballistic missiles inside of America. And then there's Sicario 2, where they've got suicide bombers coming in over the border assisted by the cartels. And they openly say, there's discussions with Josh Brolin's character in that film where they're saying, you know, we might get to the point where cartels can be designated as FTOs, as foreign terrorist organizations. Like, that stuff was in the Taylor Sheridan milieu for several years now. That's been discussed. But now it's really just accelerated to the point where it's no longer fringe. It's no longer something that Lindsey Graham might say or Marjorie Taylor Greene might say. It is something that is extraordinarily mainstream. And because it's extraordinarily mainstream with Republicans, there has not been a lot of time to adjust or try to legitimize that narrative. Again, what I was saying earlier.
Yeah. We
There's
forgot
not-
to bring the public along.
No, there's no, they don't really want to bring the public along. They don't care about it. Just, yeah, they're doing it with Hamas now. They're doing it with Hezbollah now. I mean, they tried after October 7th to do these occasional, like, the Mossad busted Hamas plots in Brazil or in, I don't know how many other countries. Austria,
No,
I
in
think,
Austria
was one of
recently,
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of these are very spurious, and their actual connections to Hamas are nil. But it creates that idea that, okay, all of this is like not just Israel's problem; it's Europe's problem, it's America's problem by proxy, and that kind of like gets into your head. But even then, that's not the main thing. It's just they're exactly the same as ISIS now. That's what Kristi Noem has been saying, the DHS secretary. They're exactly like the Islamic State. They're exactly like Hezbollah. They're Hamas. If they're not directly connected to Hamas and Hezbollah, they're functionally like them. So it doesn't matter. They're exactly the same in your imagination, and we spent decades trying to justify their extermination to you. It's somewhat novel, somewhat old, but the massive usage of it is certainly novel.
Before we transition to more talking about the Middle East, which great that we're, going to spend the rest of the bulk of the episode talking about this, which is, I would say, your specialty. No? Yes? I hope.
That was what I write about primarily, yes.
Yeah. Just a reminder that then this is also the exact plot of the Steven Seagal book that he wrote, The Way of the Shadow Wolves. That has a forward.
I have not thought about that book in
years.
many years.
I had to look it up now, being like, oh yeah, this. I remember this. I think it was like an episode of Chapo where they like read it, and I forgot that it had a forward by my former sheriff of Maricopa County, Joe Arpaio.
I was shocked to hear that Joe Arpaio is still
alive. He's still
You would
alive.
think that man, that like there are some old people, brilliant souls. They're fat, they're jolly, they die early. Joe Arpaio, that man, 90 something, nearly
93 years old.
Jeez,
What the fuck?
Still running for office, right?
I don't think so. I think he was like thinking that with Trump, he was going to get a position within the admin. And I think that they realized that even then he was too old. But he lost the sheriff election forever ago to Paul Penzone, who was not, I mean, he was Arizona's a fuck state. And then he tried to run for Senate and then just like he was.
Kieran is making these faces like we're going too local. Local Arizona politics.
No.
I know Joe Arpaio because
know
of
who Joe
American
Arpaio
hegemony.
is.
I have to know who this fucker is. But it is just like that was the reaction in Ireland when Charlie Kirk died. It is like we shouldn't have known who.
Yeah,
that
you
was.
don't need to. You shouldn't know who Joe Arpaio is. Also, in classic Arizona fashion, he's from Massachusetts.
God, man,
Evil people from the East Coast
fake,
just
man.
come to the state and they want to play cowboy, and that's what he wanted to do.
I will occasionally get like a €7 spice bag and be like, well, there's like 1 year off my life that I could have spent with my children. And then I find out this fucking rotund Humpty Dumpty looking motherfucker has made it to 93. And I was like, fuck it, I'm ordering another spice bag.
Well, every spice bag you eat goes to just 1 year of Joe Arpaio living longer, Kieran.
Right. It's kind of Dorian Gray situation.
Exactly.
I'm the painting.
Anyway, yeah, just wanted to remind everyone of The Way of the Shadow Wolves.
Is the Shadow Wolves Hamas? Or is he
No.
Wolves?
Just shut up.
We don't have time.
We don't have time. Uma, did you look up The Way of the Shadow Wolves with the way that you're...
No, I just don't know who the fuck Joe Arpaio is. So I was looking him up.
This is what it should be like here.
What if you made Hitler and put him in Arizona there?
But to be fair, I thought he would be fatter because you guys were talking about like,
he was fatter at some point. He did the old
Oh, did he
person
lose weight?
thing. Yeah, he lost weight.
Oh, good for him.
No, fuck him.
No,
The weight loss struggle should have killed him, but...
There's a crazy picture of him just like looking like this in front of
yeah.
like a jail with inmates behind him.
Okay.
Just like
Yeah,
Posing?
the last thing that I will say about Joe Arpaio is that this is a man who then during like a fundraiser compared Tent City, this project that he had in Arizona to put people in tents outside in the hottest city in the United States, and then compared them positively to Nazi concentration camps. So yeah,
Cool.
that is
Joe
the type
Arpaio.
of that is Joe Arpaio. It is yeah. He's we can talk more about him in private.
I'd feel so bad if the next Hitler had the name Joe. That just feels like that's just fundamentally unserious.
It'll really,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, welcome to fucking America, man.
Yeah, I know. This
Yeah.
No.
some
Everything's
guy called
humiliating.
Dirk Ghipley is going to massacre all like Louisianans or something.
The person they're putting in front of the International Stabilization Force in Gaza, this neocolonial force, his name is fucking Jasper Jeffers. Like,
Adorable.
it's so humiliating.
That sounds
he
like a
looks like a
cocktail I'd
doof.
order
Yeah.
with like mint in it.
Jasper Jeffers
To be
should
fair-
be pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He should not.
To be fair,
he should
Adolf
not
Hitler
be.
is also an embarrassing name. Like Adolf, like that's a nerdy.
It's
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like now it's like this is evil person.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
you're probably
like a
right.
Evil
Yeah.
name. But like imagine being like his contemporary. It'd be like Adolf, like this dude is doing all of this. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, fair enough.
Fucking little Addy. Yeah, screw him.
Goddamn Jasper Jeffers, though. That sounds like that should have been like a bad guy from the Civil War.
No.
rather
Jasper
than
Jeffers
now.
has 35 home runs, is batting 215, 200
All right.
250 pounds.
What are these stats? Okay,
He's a designated hitter, like I said.
50
All right.
pounds?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
huge. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
He hits balls.
What was he doing? All right, never mind. We can't do fantasy baseball too much.
Yeah, don't
Right.
have me make up a baseball player. I'll keep going.
No.
Right, we should talk about the Middle East, though, shouldn't we?
Sure.
Yeah, because I get so the big conversation in Europe at the moment is like the kind of existential crisis as various European countries realize that they've probably been cut out of the end of the Ukraine war, like these kind of like peace negotiations. Made me think, especially in the run up of having our friend Séamus on, that it seems like Europe has kind of surrendered the idea that we were ever going to have influence over what was happening in Israel and Gaza. Like they've just kind of like completely given up, at least publicly, that they were going to have any say on what's happening there.
That is an interesting observation. I mean, a lot of what I remember, like last year, David Lammy was an example of somebody who was very much at the forefront of this, and now he's kind of petered off and is now abolishing jury trials in his new position. To the point where I'm not even sure who the current foreign secretary is in Britain, admittedly. He's been that irrelevant. He or she has been that irrelevant to the process. No, I mean they're mostly focused at the moment on Syria and economic development there, the refugee issue with that. The International Stabilization Force in Gaza, the troop deployments that we're talking about. I mean, there were discussions before about maybe France being involved in that, but mostly now it's revolving around Turkey and Indonesia and Azerbaijan. Countries that are, maybe this is unorthodox, maybe a faux pas, Europe adjacent.
Yeah,
but
in Eurovision,
they are in. True, they're in Eurovision.
So is
We
Australia.
can get back on that.
To Kieran's fault, I was also thinking the same thing.
Yeah. But they are not within Western Europe. No, they are, but also like they are content to have this off their plate. The issue with Gaza has been such a fucking headache for all of these countries, not just Germany, because none of them are able to triangulate a position that people are actually happy with. I mean, even with Spain and with Italy, they sent those frigates out with the flotilla, and then they pulled those frigates back. Like, even when they want to portray that they are doing something, they can't commit to it. It is not something that they want to have to deal with. So if America is dealing with it, if they are handling all the negotiations, if they are handling the aid deliveries, supposedly, all of the coordination with Israel, that's fine by them. No, they are much more happy to deal with. I mean, this is something that my co-host Dylan and I have discussed numerous times before. The issue with trying to negotiate something with Gaza is that European states, Western states, don't have leverage over Hamas in the same way that they do with other Arab states or with other Arab governments or Iran. The fight that is happening in Gaza is existential. It is something that comes after diplomacy is exhausted and they are forced into this position. So to try to do the same things that Europe tends to do, dangling economic development over their heads or promising that they'll devote troops and they'll maybe hang on to some parts of a peace plan, those are not convincing. One, those are not convincing to the Palestinians. And two, Trump does not give a shit. His concerns are much more either about, again, extracting money out of the process, or two, enforcing Israeli hegemony over the region. Anything Europe could do to affect that is it can help with whatever America is doing, but it cannot be at the forefront in the same way that it was with the intervention in Yemen or with trying to spearhead aid deliveries or anything else that it was trying to do.
I think one of the points that then's very interesting on the European, I think you're very correct in the point of that in terms of a negotiation thing. Europe can't do anything. There is no European power that has kind of come up to, they've endorsed Trump's plan to some degree, but more than that, there hasn't been much. And I think that then this is kind of shown quite well with Friedrich Merz's visit the other day with Netanyahu, where it kind of just is like a refundamentalization of the Staatsräson thing. Germany can kind of only stand on that. Yes, fine, sure. Israel gets plenty of support militarily from Israel. But Germany doesn't have any other power in that agreement other than that, hey, you're my friend. You're my friend. I'm standing next to you. Shake hands. Critical support for Israel is literally what Friedrich Merz said, which hilariously hearing that come in this scenario and not talking about something left-wing that we're joking about on the show.
That's very anti-Deutsche thing to say.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. I mean, of course, the anti-Deutsche...
maybe not critical support, but yeah.
No, the anti-Deutsche would be Friedrich Merz is a revisionist for not, full-blown support for Israel. But, it is very much this kind of interesting thing of a country that then, claims to then have this... pretends that they have so much influence within the politics of Israel because of their own history, actually can't do anything much more than just shake hands and be like, you're my friend. And you know what? We're going to stick this through. And even to the point that then Lufthansa even kind of stopped a shipment of weapons the other day, because I think even to the slight that then some German companies are slowly creeping into the sense of oh, maybe this is not great. And it's just there is the sense of that these countries have no sway with anything. And maybe, of course, I don't know how much this plays into then Merz's understanding of their closeness to the United States. Merz has been very open that then he wants to work with the Trump administration. And maybe this is an existential issue on the same psychotic right-wing thing. I am not in the brain of Friedrich Merz, but it is something that is hyper-limited. And which is very interesting, I guess, in the sense of a country that then this issue is still chronically plaguing, polling and stuff like that. It's an issue that then I'm still curious of when that breaking point is going to happen. I have to be optimistic here. But
breaking point between Germany and Israel.
Yeah, in the sense of that then. No. I mean, no.
I'm sorry.
I know. I want to be optimistic. I want to be optimistic. Yeah. I
think it's more from my perspective, it would be breaking point between the public and the political. Yeah.
No. Not the government. Sure. The government's not the government.
Okay, I'm about to say that's
because
pigs fly. Okay,
there are discussions that are happening internally within I mean, not even just Die Linke, but then internally within the foreign ministry of Germany, within a bunch of massive media institutions in Germany. It isn't just simply left-wing politics. It is a thing that then is affecting a lot of aspects of German life that everyone is trying to keep a lid on, but is like constantly leaking out of like, you know, the Auswärtiges Amt or like our foreign ministry. There's a lot of people that then are like, you know, pissed off about Germany's position to Israel. A lot of like
the Ukraine stuff, I think, is one thing that I think about a lot, because it's like a bunch of politicians had earned a lot of goodwill by defending Ukraine, and then that was all scrapped the moment they were like, yeah, Israel's allowed to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, well, hang on, now it's just completely obvious that your defense of Ukraine was 100% cynical. I think everyone in this chat would have known, but still it ruins a lot of like legitimacy for like everyone in power, or has been in power for both of these events.
I mean, there's a similar thing happening, you know, locally. I hate to go local within the United States again, but there's some things starting to brew with our comptroller, Brad Lander, here at NYC, who is running for Congress now, in that he made a whole big stink about divesting New York's pension funds from Russia when the invasion happened. But when October 7th happened, the NYC pensions investments in Elbit Systems, suddenly, well, I don't play politics with the pension system. No. It's always, even with people who are nominally critical of Israel, like Lander was, there are very deep set things that they cannot disentangle themselves from. Not say cannot, they don't want to. It's too much of a questioning of the general world system. I wish that I feel like Zizek, as much as I hate him, would have had a great name for whatever stasis point we're in right now, where there's this lack of influence, this feeling of lack of influence in the situation that is coursing through Europe, and it's being disseminated into things that were previously unpopular and are now becoming more popular. As you see, Die Linke, which after October 7th, its primary criticism was that there were people in German politics who were associated with Qatar, and they needed to disinvest from them. And now they're at the point where they have a Palestine working group, and they do have people in the Bundestag who are pro-Palestine openly and unabashedly. And you also, talking about Israel getting out of Eurovision earlier in this war was at least from my perspective, was a pretty deeply unpopular position, a pretty fringe position on the internet only. And
it was fans only. It was never anyone with actual power.
Exactly. And when Israel, even just in the last Eurovision, there was discussion about it, there was controversy about it, but the contestant for Israel, even though they originally planned to do a song about October 7th, which is such a wild contravening of the rules about political content.
Yeah.
That still went off without a hitch. But now all of these broadcasting unions are on board with suspending their involvement with Eurovision. The victor in 2024 just gave back his award. There is momentum behind this, even though there is ostensibly a ceasefire in Gaza. Yeah. And people were maybe hoping that attention had gotten away from that. No, things are moving, and I wish that I had a better idea of how near in the future things would move in Germany's case, because there have been consistently polls showing that the German public views Israel's actions negatively. Going back, a year at least now, but I still don't see any movement on that outside of either Die Linke or the BSW. But the BSW is irrelevant.
BSW is
gone.
Is pretty. Yeah,
Sarah Wagenknecht has resigned as leader.
Sarah Wagenknecht has resigned as leader.
That's what it was named after.
It was named after her.
I never had a new name. What?
Yeah, Sarah Wagenknecht resigned from the Sarah Wagenknecht party. It's great.
Yeah.
What? My Iranian queen.
I know. I'm sorry. Like, as weird as she is, we hate to see her go. Critical support to Sarah Wagenknecht.
The very strange, quasi-racist defender of the Palestinian movement.
Wild.
She's everywhere.
It's all over
the fucking place. Yeah.
I am the Eurovision stuff in particular makes me optimistic, because it's nice to have some kind of like hard evidence that generally the public of Europe, because this is the only common cultural event Europe has, basically. This is the only time the entire continent watches the same television.
What are you talking about? There's the Euro Cup, Kieran. You just don't watch sports.
I don't give a shit. But even then, that can be isolated to their various leagues. And people
No,
watching,
no,
La
no,
Liga.
no, Kieran, stop.
All right,
Shameful.
whatever.
To be fair, though, the Euro Cup is every 4 years.
I know, and the
Eurovision
World
is
Cup's every
year.
other 2 years in between. You know, Europe has a fun time for both of
I
those.
care.
I get that it's not annual. Fine, you're right. You're right. But
Anyway, Eurovision, far more important. But still, just like, it was nice to see that there was this hard proof of like the population has kind of saw through the bullshit that was the supposed ceasefire. Like, it's kind of some nice hard evidence, because that is kind of like what European politics has become, is like, we are ignoring Israel Gaza now because that's done. There was a ceasefire. What are you talking about? Of course we're not
They're
talking
moving
about it.
towards phase 2. And there was also American journalists who were like, why isn't the left celebrating the ceasefire? Isn't this all that you wanted? Well, no, there are like, this is what we've been trying to say. It's a complicated situation that is perpetual. It ebbs and it flows, but the violence still continues. And the Israel, like, it's also so fucked, because I don't give a shit about like whatever complications there were with like voting in the Eurovision. There were accusations that I saw about like fielding votes, like there were multiple votes. Can somebody explain this to me? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah, they cooked the vote by running the Israeli Foreign Ministry ran YouTube ads. All of that was being illegal because you can't have the government involved. Ran YouTube ads that was just like, vote 20 times your phone, vote this number. You don't have to watch Eurovision. You can use multiple credit cards. Basically, like, nothing terribly against the rules, but very much breaking the spirit of the rules. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, the people who are intimately, because it's the Israeli Foreign Ministry, the people who are intimately involved in selling the genocide to the public are the same people who are deliberately trying to pull the levers on this. Same people. Danny Danon, Isaac Herzog, the fucking president of Israel, is involved with these shenanigans.
Oh, absolutely. He did a huge like bumping elbows campaign to get the vote for them to stay in the Eurovision pass. He was like on this huge charm offensive for a couple of months with the European broadcasters who said, yeah, Israel can participate, who aren't boycotting. So like that's a whole thing. I've said it before in this podcast, I'll say it again. Eurovision is to Israel what rugby was to apartheid South Africa. Problem being, other countries cared about rugby as much as South Africa did. So like, they have the run of this competition because no one is into Eurovision as much as they are. No one views it as like being that essential to their state.
No, certainly. I mean, the fact that some people, I think, don't realize that Israel used to be, if we're talking about just football, they used to be part of the AFC. They used to play against Iran. Like, my father, when I was a child, would say football chants to me that he remembers from the games that Iran played against Israel back in the 60s. That was something you could do. And after more Arab states entered the AFC and were boycotting Israel, then they had to move into, I think, the Oceania League, and then they were in the UEFA.
Okay. Oceania? What?
No, nobody. No, look, it went to these weird fucking things where like Israel is clearly a better team than like New Zealand, but now they have to play like an interconfederal playoff against Colombia or some bullshit. I don't know, some fucking.
I know
weird
people
shit.
play fast and loose about whether Israel is European or Asian, but like, no one was saying Oceania. No one was saying it's like a South Pacific island.
They didn't have a choice, I guess. I don't know. It was very strange. It was very odd. But yeah, I think they've been a part of the EBU, the European Broadcasting Unit, for much longer, and that's also prevented other Arab states who are also part of the EBU from participating. Even though, quite frankly, they would have much better songs.
Oh my God, they'd have
like
absolute
Lebanon,
bangers.
Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, I think Syria for a time was also a part of this process. Like,
they're all still in it. Like they're all still in the EBU, and I think there's some channel somewhere in like Algeria that will broadcast the Eurovision because they have the right to. They just don't take part in the contest because Israel's there.
No, like I can't. I have never. This is like, I have two minds. One is political, the revulsion that comes with that, and the other is aesthetic. I have never enjoyed an Israel song. I've seen a great deal of them. I have never enjoyed any of them. However, I have heard the beautiful dulcet tones of Julia Boutros and many other Moroccan singers, Algerian singers, Lebanese singers. If these people came to Europe, I firmly believe it would enable the plot of Submission by Michel Houellebecq, the kind of thing that I've been desperate to happen. All right? You need a handsome or perhaps beautiful Arab Muslim person to tell Europe it's okay.
Yeah, you've been having too much of the the Caucasus pretending to be Orientalist, where you have then like Azerbaijan. I mean, to be fair, Turkic people, but they'll have a song, but the problem is that it's too Americanized. They try to be like Ariana Grande. The Balkans, I guess, are the closest thing that then the European mind can conceive of the Arab, but it's not quite there.
The Near East.
The Near East.
As it was once called.
Turkey is Turkey, another country that then would probably do well if it was in, still participating in Eurovision. But yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. The bridge of, that moment would be it would melt the mind of a European, though. That is, I think, the larger problem is that then they would be I don't know, especially just up neck and neck with some of the just like the dopiest shit that then Central and Northern Europe are sending.
Yeah, I'd like to see how racist Europe is. Just like I would like to have the hard numbers.
Yeah.
Just quantify.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think that the racism of Europe can be told of the sense of how well, if a good a good Balkan country sends something, that's. Seeing how far it goes, I think that's also that's one indicator of how racist the European mind is that year. Can Albania do it? Are the Greeks in it this year?
Croatia's never won.
Croatia's never. Yeah, that's the Northern Baltics, but Balkans. Sorry, God, I can't today. What is geography? What's a map? But yeah.
Anyway, I think on that note, where we basically condone the concept of Euro-Arabia, which we all are a huge fan of here.
Of course.
Séamus, thank you so much for having us. Coming on.
Yeah.
I'm hearing the sounds of New York.
The real
like
guests were us on our own show. Yes.
Yeah, they welcome us.
Pleasure.
We're like a vampire. Turbulence, great podcast. Yes. Where can people find it?
They can find it on turbulencepod.substack.com. You can reach all of the episodes. They are all free except for the bonus episodes where we summarize news of the week. On YouTube, Turbulence. You'll have to sort through a bunch of different airline-themed podcasts which have that same name.
Cool for them.
Turbulence_pod on X/Twitter. It is also there.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And all that's left for me to say is we will catch you, the listener, on the bonus feed. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.